All right, yeah, we just had to fix the spotlight there, and we'll have a few individuals that will be sharing their stories with us this afternoon also. But my name is Jonathan Jones. I'll be your host and moderator for the afternoon. My co-host is Alfreda Strong. She'll be assisting with helping to answer some questions and orchestrating things. We certainly appreciate you all being here with us. We are muting all of the lines so that we can keep the noise levels down. Some of you will have some questions. Feel free to jot them down. We're going to try to answer as many of them as we can, but we do have a presentation that's going to be part two of our discussion on high blood pressure. So we'll begin that in just a couple of moments. But for the record, we need to just try to make it real clear at the very beginning so that there's no misunderstandings or confusions. I'm not a medical doctor. My background is health and nutrition. I've been studying and focusing in on nutrition, including herbology, biokinesiology, iridology, and reflexology for about 30 years now. My wife and I decided to direct our attentions in this area because we both had a parent with diabetes, and we decided that we didn't want to go down that road. We did not want to come down with the same diabetes that our parents had. We saw the suffering and the issues that they were dealing with, including things like high blood pressure. So we determined that as early as possible in our married lives that we needed to start making some adjustments to try to avoid getting it. And that, for me, led to a career change. My background was computer electronics and engineering. But after watching my mother die, agonizing death in intensive care unit, I realized that there was nothing that my profession could have done to have extended her life, not 1 minute. But had I had at the time what the intensive care unit nurse said, an immune system kicker in her, there's a chance that my mother could have been alive. And so I did an about face. I just went into a different direction because I would never be in that helpless, hopeless situation again. So the information that I'm going to be sharing with you and others is all researched information. Be happy to present to you any of the sources of the material. So feel free to ask. This presentation is not being presented by, well, it's being presented by the Healthcare Support Association of America. So the Healthcare Support Association of America is a private organization. We simply are concerned about providing accurate information and directing people to healthcare support solutions. And one of the things that we're focusing on here in recent days, in recent years, has been micronutrition. So what we're presenting today is all for educational purposes only, and the information intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary health care physician. We highly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when it comes to making your health and wellness decisions. There's so much information out there. We know that it's very difficult to try to navigate through the mountain of options and choices. And everyone says that they've got the next best thing, the greatest thing, and it will cure all, do this and do that. We're not making any of those claims. The government makes it very clear that no one is allowed to make claims that any supplement or nutritional product can treat or cure a disease. So that having been said, be aware that the FDA is not evaluating any of the comments that will be being made today. When you hear testimonials, please note that they're anecdotal and results may be atypical with anything that we suggest. What one person the benefits one person gets may not be the same that you will receive, but the individuals who share their stories will certainly be sharing what they believe to be a true and accurate representation of what happened to them. So I thought we would start with maybe just sharing with you one story about a personal. This is from a personal friend of mine. His name is James Greer, and I interviewed James Greer on this call, this meeting, about 2 months ago. About 2 months ago, I recorded it, so you can feel free to request that, and I'll share that with you directly. But my friend James, we go back decades. He lived in Belgrade, Florida. My wife and I in Fort Lauderdale at the time. They're just young, healthy people. I really had a lot of respect for him. He was an outstanding public speaker, so I got to know him very well. We had similar backgrounds and similar interests. But about I don't remember how many years ago it is now, but probably 8 years or so ago. I heard that my friend James had a stroke, a hemorrhagic stroke, was a bleeder, and he was placed into a coma. And amazingly, he survived. But his survival left him with some complications in his life, including some difficulties with walking. His attention was very different. He just was not the same person that I knew who lived in Belle Glade, that was full of life and a dynamic, vivacious speaker. But his wife decided that it might be good for to take a look at some of the nutrition that we were recommending, and her husband James agreed to get started taking this micronutrient we will tell you about in a little bit. And to make a very long story short, when I interviewed James just a couple of months or so ago, this was shortly after he gave me a call asking about something which was unbelievable because he never had much interest in anything, but he was so much more like the old James Greer. But for the first time, his blood pressure was better controlled, better managed. He was out walking. He wasn't getting exhausted. He was no longer tired. He said, I felt like I got my life back. He was better in control. And he was so excited about that. And we're excited about that. I texted him today to see if he was going to be able to come on today, and just asked him how his blood pressure was doing. And he said, let's see if I can just find it here real quick. It was just a real brief response, and it was nice to see. It's always nice to see good stories. But his statement was, blood pressure is good. At the last doctor visit, the doctor adjusted the meds. He said, but I don't take it. Now, we never encouraged him not to take his medication, but that's what he said. He said, I don't take it. I only take micro daily and garlic 2 times each day. So that's where he is. He's excited with the results that he's getting so far. And that's just a brief story I want to share with you. But we have one more story that we also want to share with you. Alta Witters is on our meeting today right now. So Alta, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, tell us a little bit about your story and your relationship with micronutrition and blood pressure.
Okay. My story is that my blood pressure was out of control when I came from Texas taking care of my sister. And so I started taking micro daily, and my blood pressure started going down, and I started feeling weird, lightheaded, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went to my doctor, and he said that my blood pressure all my tests were perfect actually, but my blood pressure was low. So I don't really have to take my blood pressure medicine anymore because it's always low. So that was a good thing. And my A1C, my cholesterol, everything is perfect. It's never been that way. So I was really excited about it.
I bet you are excited about that. So, and what was it that caused your, what do you feel made the difference in your blood pressure improving so?
I think it had to be the micro daily because when I took it for like a couple of weeks, I had more energy. Um, my husband always said, "Why don't you sit down?" But I couldn't sit down. I had this energy, and I still had that energy. So he still tells me to sit down, but it just gives me a lot of energy. I feel better, and my sugar is better. My insulin is lower. I don't have to take more than 5 units. They wanted me to take 30 in the morning, 30 in the evening, but I'm down to 5 units, plus my blood pressure and my cholesterol and all that's straight.
Exciting. That's exciting to hear. Thank you so much for being willing to share your story with us today. So those are just a couple of stories, and we're sure that there are many, many others, and you'll get a chance to no doubt hear more of them as time goes on. But I'd like to now just take a minute and show you a couple of things. This is a brief video that talks about blood pressure. Um, and I think that it just well illustrates, um, it gives a little bit of an overview of how blood pressure works and why it is an issue that needs to be a concern. Hang on just a second. Seems to disappear when you alter the screen a little bit. All right, now let's share it this way. Wait. Have to make sure that you'll be able to hear it. All right, here we go.
Blood pressure is the force the circulating blood exerts on the walls of blood vessels. It is different in different types of vessels, but the term blood pressure, when not specified otherwise, refers to arterial pressure in the systemic circulation. When the heart contracts and pumps blood into the aorta during systole, the aortic pressure rises, and so does the systemic arterial pressure. The maximum pressure following an ejection is called the systolic pressure. In between heartbeats, when the ventricles refill, blood pressure falls to its lowest value called the diastolic pressure. These are the two numbers on a blood pressure reading. Blood pressure normally shows a daily pattern and is usually lower at night. During daytime, it fluctuates with physical activities and emotional states. Hypertension refers to a persistent high blood pressure. In the U.S., high blood pressure used to be defined as greater than 140/90, but recent guidelines have changed these values to 130/80 to better prevent and treat the condition. Normal blood pressure is below 120/80. In practice, blood pressure is considered too low only if it produces symptoms. Hypertension does not cause symptoms on its own, but it slowly damages blood vessels, and in the long term is a major risk factor for a variety of cardiovascular diseases such as stroke, aneurysm, and heart attack, as well as end organ damage such as renal failure or vision loss. For this reason, hypertension is known as the silent killer. Hypertension can be classified as primary or secondary, with the former being responsible for over 90% of cases. Primary hypertension has no apparent cause and may develop as a result of old age, obesity, high salt diet, lack of exercise, smoking, and drinking. Most commonly, the blood vessels are hardened with age or unhealthy diets, making it harder for blood to flow. Secondary hypertension, on the other hand, is caused by an underlying condition. Many conditions and factors can cause hypertension. Most notable are kidney problems and endocrine disturbances. Regardless of the cause, the increase in blood pressure is produced by either an increase in vascular resistance, narrower or stiffer blood vessels, or an increase in cardiac output, larger volume of blood pumped out by the heart. These two factors are the targets of antihypertensive drugs. Treatments must start with lifestyle changes such as healthy, low-sodium diets, physical exercise, and stress management. On top of that, antihypertensive agents may be used to control hypertension.
That's just a brief overview of how hypertension behaves and why it's so significant and why we need to pay careful attention to it. Now we're going to drill down just a little bit here and try to just discuss, add to our discussion as to how and why it is that we can conclude that micronutrition can have an impact on hypertension in some way. And keep in mind now, we're simply talking about hypertension, micronutrition being added as an addition to what you're doing already. All right, let's see if I can share the screen. Okay, all right. Micronutrition versus high blood pressure. And as you heard in the video, it's called a silent killer. And it's called a silent killer because there are literally millions of people that are walking around with high blood pressure and they don't even know it yet. One estimate is that there's somewhere in the area of 100 million people with high blood pressure. One study said that there's 46% of all adults that are hypertensive or have high blood pressure. So obviously none of that is good on any level. Now, what are the reasons for what can lead to high blood pressure? Well, that's what this next screen is kind of showing. It was mentioned in the video also that all sorts of factors are involved. Some of them you actually have control of. Genetics, you may not have any control of that. There's nothing that you can do about what's in your genetics. But as you can see, almost everything else can be controlled by you or I. We have a role to play. And it's so serious because, as I mentioned, you're talking about 100 million people. And the worst type of high blood pressure is if you don't know that you have the issue, because it can lead to all kinds of other problems. Now, when it comes to making adjustments in lifestyle, one of the things that all of the scientists and doctors recommend is making adjustments in how you eat. Now, you notice that this is extremely healthy food being illustrated here, but that's not what everybody eats every day. Let's just face it, our diet tends to consist of more meats and more starches. And then what those meats are cooked with is often a contributing factor to underlying health problems, many of which is because of how we were raised. That's what my wife and I concluded, was that lifestyle and emotional factors were going to play a huge role in whether or not we came down with diabetes or high blood pressure. And so far, we seem to be keeping that under control. But it's those lifestyle choices that's going to present the biggest challenge in changing diet. To this day, I have to just be honest with you. I am not vegan. I still I'm a vegan if you consider I eat things that will eat vegetables. Then I'm vegan. That's a vegan once removed. That's my joke of the day. So if it eats vegetables, I'll eat it. But a lot of persons have had no choice but to make the adjustment to go completely vegan. If you can't go vegan, I highly recommend that the very least you do is choose as organic as possible and avoid GMO. That would be one of the most important things, the simplest things that you can do. And reduce your salt intake. And that's a big factor in controlling diabetes. And then if at all possible, maybe some of the excess body fat, that would be a good thing also to try to relieve yourself of. But just take an overview of the factors that lead to hypertension: stress, alcohol, smoking, salt, obesity, inactivity. There's one thing that all of those do have in common, and that's connected to free radicals or oxidative stress. And on this meeting weekly, we've talked about oxidative stress and free radicals a lot. But this illustration might make it a little bit easier to kind of understand what oxidative stress is. You see the fresh, healthy tomato on the left side slowly progressing and turning rotten. And it's rotting because of free radical damage, oxidative stress. And below that, the same thing can happen to cells inside your body and my body. On the left is a normal cell. A cell that's being attacked by free radicals starts to degrade. And once it's been overwhelmed and succumbs to oxidative stress, you can see that it's pretty well useless. And if it becomes useless in one state, becoming an abnormal cell, and is allowed to replicate, that can lead to cancer. So that's a very serious problem. That's not the focus of this discussion today. But looking there at the middle of a healthy cell being attacked by a free radical, the attack is not, it's not like Pac-Man, and yet it is. What a free radical is it's a cell that's just simply not normal. It needs an electron. And the only way to supply that electron to make that cell not try to attack you is to use something that will be willing to donate an electron to it. I know that sounds a little bit technical, but that's really what it boils down to. So if you can supply an electron to that free radical, it no longer is harmful. It becomes completely innocuous. For the women that cook and prepare fruit salad that's on our call now, I've asked this question: what do you do if you want your fruit salad to stay fresh? You make it earlier in the day, but you're having guests coming over later in the day. How do you keep that fruit salad looking fresh? And every single time I ask that question to a group of people, someone raises their hand and say, well, you just sprinkle some lemon juice on it. Well, the lemon juice acts as an antioxidant. It starts to look degraded and broken down because it's oxidizing. That's what oxygen does. It starts to oxidize something. Well, there's all sorts of exogenous antioxidants out there. So many sources of good antioxidants. And that's the reason why diet is an important factor in reducing or slowing down the onset of something like high blood pressure. What we eat is critically important. And that's the reason why I said choosing organic foods and choosing non GMO foods is important, because you may be making better choices today. You also could be using what you might say is a two-edged sword. So it's you're eating less bad food, more healthy food, but if it's loaded with pesticides, if it's loaded with glyphosate or weed killer, and if it's been genetically modified, you're literally introducing a level of free radicals into your body that you're not even aware of. So that's the sinister part about this entire thing. Many people are dealing with serious diseases like high blood pressure, like diabetes, heart disease, and other cardiovascular issues without their even being aware of it, not due to any fault of their own. But when we talk about antioxidants, please keep in mind that there's one antioxidant that is endogenous, one that your body makes. The ones I just talked about were all exogenous. They come from the outside in. But your body makes one very important antioxidant. And some scientists and doctors refer to glutathione as being the master antioxidant. So it's the most important antioxidant in the world, and your body makes it. They discovered it back in the late 1800s, and tons of research has been done on it since then. And in fact, if you go to PubMed, there's about 50,000 articles written showing the connection between glutathione and various illnesses and issues. I found this slide on the FDA's website, and you'll see that there's a list of things here that deplete glutathione from the body. And on the list are many of the very things that were mentioned as contributing factors to hypertension: smoking, alcohol, caffeine, drugs, lack of exercise. This says vigorous exercise can deplete the body of glutathione. That's a whole nother discussion in itself. We're not going to go down that road right now. But radiation, huge factor in free radical damage or oxidative stress, huge factor. Xenobiotics is chemicals coming into the body from the outside. So you can just Google this, but there's been some studies that people who have been in the cleaning industry for a number of years show that their lungs look like smoker lungs. So you're talking about someone who's simply been exposed to chemicals, standard household chemicals, and that's xenobiotics. So that's free radicals or toxins going into the body from the outside. So what do you do about glutathione? Well, you give your body the building blocks to manufacture glutathione, and it just takes 3 amino acids, and your cells will make glutathione: glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. Those are the amino acids that are needed to stimulate your cells to manufacture glutathione. Glutamic acid and glycine, very common in food, but the one that's all but missing from our diet is cysteine. Very difficult to get. You can get it if you eat maybe 2 or 3 dozen eggs at a time raw. You can get about 10 grams of glutathione. If you eat a pickup truckload of broccoli or watermelon, you can get about 10 grams, maybe 20 grams of glutathione. So those you eat that much of that particular type of food at once, and of course that creates all kinds of problems. No one can ingest that much. Raw milk too, by the way. A couple of gallons of raw milk will also get you about 10 grams of glutathione, and very difficult to get. But as I mentioned before, 156,000 articles showing significance of glutathione on PubMed. PubMed is the government's official national library of medicine. That's the government's library. I even found it in the physician's desk reference. There was an article there some years back that had a list of glutathione depleting agents. Now, they didn't put high blood pressure on that list, but you notice that some of the things that come as a consequence of high blood pressure are on that list. Um, I know that you kind of see, one thing there right away, right? Stroke. Hold on, go back a second here. Pen. Okay, yeah, stroke is one of those things. Well, aging, of course, is also one of the items. Stroke is associated with heart disease. I thought I saw heart disease completely on this list, but it's not specified as heart disease on here also. But you do know that that's very closely related to it. In fact, that's the next slide that my computer was trying to go to, was actually going right into a discussion about the heart, because this is a cutout of some an illustration that was run on the PBS documentary called The Hidden Epidemic. Joanna recorded it. This went back some years, but I went through it very carefully and took out some screenshots from it so that I could sort of understand what was going on, because for many years, and even to this day, there's a lot of pictures out there showing plaque building up inside the coronary artery walls. But for the first time, the Framingham study out of Framingham, Massachusetts, found that this plaque was literally building up between the inner lining and outer linings of the artery walls. It's a 100-year-old ongoing heart disease study. It's been going on for more than 100 years. And this is what they concluded, that plaque is literally building up in between the inner lining and outer linings of the artery walls. And the immune system is coming in, trying to solve the problem, creating higher levels of inflammation. As it becomes more and more inflamed, then if those white blood cells come in contact with a micro tear, then that clot oozes. The white blood cells ooze out, form a clot. If that clot heads towards your heart, you know what that is, right? That's a heart attack. If that clot heads toward the brain, it's a stroke, a very serious condition. But even if it doesn't form a clot, still show the hardening of the coronary arteries, the hardening of it, and the amount of blood that can flow through that coronary artery is severely reduced, and that's simply, in the simplest form, we're talking about high blood pressure, and it's a systemic issue. In fact, the doctor who was narrating this particular portion of that documentary said that once the disease shows up where we were just looking at, once it shows up in one artery, this was the picture that they showed. They showed the disease was everywhere. So that's why some people will go in and have to have more than one stent put in at a time. And again, all of this precipitated by high blood pressure. So that's a huge factor that leads to coronary disease. And so far, sad to say it, so many people who have died from heart attacks. It's still the #1 cause of death in this country. Well, no, I have to qualify that. Right now, COVID-19, about 2 weeks ago, just surpassed heart disease as the #1 cause of death in this country. So who would have ever thought that anything like that was possible? But short of COVID-19 and the pandemic that we're in right now, coronary heart disease is still the #1 cause of death and disability in this country, because if a person survives a heart attack, often they deal with many other issues. But now let's introduce our discussion about micronutrition. Micronutrition. What's the connection between micronutrition and this high blood pressure issue? Well, I showed you before the problem with free radicals and oxidative stress. Antioxidants are needed. Well, Micro Daily happens to be the most validated supplement ever, and it's with massive amounts of antioxidants. It's phenomenal in what it produces and introduces into the body. Not only does it stimulate the elevated production of endogenous antioxidant glutathione, it also introduces a tremendous amount of exogenous antioxidants, all designed to lower free radicals and oxidative stress in the body. But look at the list of patents that on this screen. And you can look these up yourself, just Google them, or if you want, just send me an email. Send an email to, what's the best website? info@hcsaaa.com. info@hcsaaa.com. Harry, Charlie, Sam, AAA.com. info@hcsaaa.com. And I'll be happy to send you the ones that I found. I went online, looked for all of them, downloaded them into PDF files so that I could review myself. And they are interesting, very technical, but interesting. The one that we're focusing our attention on right now, though, is this one right here. We're just going to spend a couple minutes on it again because it's just, some of the stuff is so technical, but you'll notice that this patent is for heart health. And one of the things it noted is the improvement in lipid status and regression of carotid artery thickness. That is a powerful mouthful right there, folks. Powerful, powerful mouthful. What? I just went and found the patent myself, like I said, and there it is. United States issued a patent. At the time, the product was called military micronutrient formula. It was only available to the military at that time. Only within the past 5 or 6 years has it become available to the public. We have a crack at it. It's available to us. We now have access to it. And there it is, micronutrient formulations for pulmonary and heart health. That by itself should make you just stand up and applaud that something like this could even exist. You look down there at the bottom right of the screen, this paragraph was there under the abstract. It says it's a heart and pulmonary health micronutrient formulation is provided. A heart and pulmonary health micronutrient formulation is provided, and the formulation comprises dietary antioxidants and endogenous antioxidants. So it's all the components to cause the body to make massive amounts of antioxidants, which is just so exciting and beneficial for your health. It's pretty amazing. Here's another screen. In fact, there's a list of many other things that is the ingredients in Micro Daily. That's what Alta Whiters was talking about earlier today, and that's what James Greer, that I told you his story, that's what he was taking today. This specific formulation of micronutrients is what they added to their diet, and it's changed the way that their body behaves as a result of their diagnosis of high blood pressure. And I love this statement here. Since increased production of free radicals may be involved in the initiation and progression of cardiovascular disease, what I was just telling you about, the use of antioxidants appears to be a rational choice for the prevention and treatment of this disease. Now, the patent itself is 12 pages long in very fine print, 2 columns with all kinds of charts and graphs and things like that. And it will take us forever to sit here and try to go through all of it, but I decided just to give you a couple of snapshots, just a brief little glimpses into exactly what's stated in the patent, so that you can see that this is the research that was being done by the brilliant scientist who's been credited with the formulation of Micro Daily. And
Jonathan, this is Jeff Ashby.
Hey, Jeff.
I've got 2 videos lined up that I could share, and if I could share them now, I'm going to be called back into another meeting.
Okay, good.
If this is a good time, I could do it.
Yes, this is a great time for it, because I was just going to start talking about the product.
A doctor's office, actually, and so if we could do that, just give me screen share capabilities.
Absolutely, this sounds.
And I can share those 2 videos.
Sounds very good, Jeff. Pause just a second, and now you should be able to share the screen. And as soon as we come back, we'll tell you a little bit more about Dr. Prasad and wrap up our discussion, folks. And Jeff Ashby, by the way, is also co-hosted this.
So you're going to need to stop sharing for just a moment, and then I can share. There we go. Okay. This is Jeannie Hawley, a good friend of ours, and I'm going to have her share her experience with the Micro Daily, and I've got one more for you, Jonathan, and everybody else. Thank you.
Well, MMF has taken away my restless leg syndrome completely. It's reduced my cholesterol dramatically, my triglycerides and my bad cholesterol, and it's raised my good cholesterol, which was too low. Just had blood work done a week and a half ago. So that's very good news. My blood sugar levels are down. My A1C score is down 1. And also my blood pressure is normal for the first time in 10 years. And obviously, I'm not really having lifestyle changes other than just taking MMF. And I love hydro. I feel like I need less MMF when I take hydro because it's more effective. It's going right into my bloodstream and right into my cells. And one thing that I was sharing with Larry and Jeff last night on our way home is I really think that I've noticed my brain fog is much better. And I've gone through a lot of surgeries and had a lot of residual brain fog from that. And I just feel like as soon as I take hydro, like I'm able to concentrate and focus better. And that's been a huge plus for me too. So more energy, less inflammation, lower scores on all my medical tests. So MMF is the bomb. I love it.
Okay, Jonathan, they've already started this next meeting.
That's amazing.
So I've got one more to share with you quickly, and then we'll jump off.
Okay.
Now, this young man had a stroke 2 weeks earlier, and we got him. And this is I know you were talking about a stroke. So.
Yes. All right, my name is Patrick Wright, and I just took MMF, but let me tell you what happened before I took MMF. By the time I got here, I was like kind of tired, so I didn't have very much energy. I'm saying all this because, my energy level was low. I had a stroke, and it was a hemorrhagic stroke, and it was the one that, that it was what we consider a cash out stroke. I took this medicine, and I'm doing stuff like this hand doesn't work. This whole side of my body is pretty much, what they consider paralyzed. So it doesn't work. And we're talking about it doesn't work and I'm moving everything. That's one thing, but then that's not a big thing. But for me to be able to come over here and grab this and hold it is something that I could not do at all, a couple hours ago. It's not possible for me to do that and then grab and give it back to her. That's something that does not happen. It's not possible in the condition that I'm in, So I'm not sure what else you need to know, but whatever it is that you need to know, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm showing you what the proof is right now. MMF is what it is. It's what it is.
So how about that? I'm just going to leave you with that, and you've been doing an amazing job. I've got to run, but congratulations, and thanks everybody for being on the call.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate your interview.
Thanks, Jeff.
Those two stories.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And those are just two brief stories.
Thank you.
Two additional brief stories that shows the power of it. Back when it was first developed, as I said, it was called Military Micronutrient Formula, or MMF. And that's the power of it. That's the benefits that some have had from taking this product. And again, these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Results may be atypical. And those individuals who shared their stories believe that what they were saying is true and actually happened to them. But you and I do not know the clinical circumstances behind their condition and what other contributing factors may have played a role in their recovery. But this is the gentleman here who is given the credit with formulating microdaily, or MMF as it was called. Dr. Kedar Prasad, renowned scientist and researcher, member of the British Royal Academy of Medicine, the first radiation biologist, PhD in the world. He said when we interviewed him here on this call that as a little boy, he was familiar with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and he said, I need to spend my time trying to figure out a way to help people recover from radiation in case that happens again, or in case it happens to someone in my family. And that's why he focused. As a boy, he made the decision. He wanted to find some way to reverse the effect of radiation in people. So he's succeeded. In fact, one of the patents is a DNA repair caused by ionized radiation. So he's very successful with that. We recommend it no matter what. Again, not just because of the overall benefits, not just because of high blood pressure, but because of the overall health benefits that come from his invention. He's been published more than 250 times. He's the author of 31 books, and he was a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. He's the man who nominated Dr. Linus Pauling for the Nobel Peace Prize. And if you're familiar with Dr. Linus Pauling, he's the man that he was laughed off the stage at the time, but he was the one who said that every disease is rooted in a vitamin and mineral deficiency. But he was right. And today, no one's laughing anymore. So it's very easy for you and I now to get access to Dr. Prasad's invention. If you want to impact your body's immune function and optimize your immune response, these are the two that I recommend the most. Now, the company is called Engage Global, and they make a number of different products. And Dr. Prasad has produced 4 different formulas of this Micro Daily. They all start with the base formula on the left that you see, Micro Daily with CoQ10. That's the base formula. That's the original MMF, military micronutrient formula. But since then, he has stepped them up to different levels. And one of them is MTHFR. That's one that helps to metabolizing certain components in the product better. For those who have a genetic deficiency with the MTHFR gene, they would benefit from that. And that tends to be folks with a Canadian and European descent more than others. That doesn't mean no one, but it does. I mean, no one else can benefit from it, but it's primarily those with the Canadian and European descent. Then he has the EMF formula. He added 4 ingredients to especially combat radiation, and we're all being exposed to the radiation tremendously. But there's a rare chance that someone might find something in there that they are not quite ready to handle yet, that their body may be a little bit allergic to. So it's in my lifetime so far, 5-6 years in my relationship with this company, I've only run across 2 people, 3, maybe 5 people. And the EMF came out, when has it been now? About 4 or 5 months or so ago. So, but there's a rare chance. And Dr. Prasad, when we asked him about it, again, on this meeting, he said the person can simply just go back with the original formula, Micro Daily with CoQ10. But my favorite, as I said, is this, the one on the right, Micro Daily Plus. It has CBD. This is the original formula, regular Micro Daily. These are the ingredients, same ingredients that you see listed in the patent that I showed you earlier. And the combination of these two, I take the one on the left in the morning, I take 3 of the one on the left on the morning, and I take 3 of the plus at night before I go to sleep. It helps me sleep a lot deeper. So it's an unbelievable combination of product. So the question that we get the most is, how do I get it? This says it's a 40% discount. That's inaccurate. I think it's more like a 25% discount if you get a subscription. Either way, it's cheaper if you get a subscription. Just get back with the person who referred you to this call today, to this discussion today, and they'll help you get access to this product. I recommend that you receive it as a preferred customer to get the maximum discount. You'll get the same price that those of us who are distributors of this product will get it for. Okay, so we're going to pause right here and give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have now, and maybe there's something I might be able to clear up that was not made clear in the discussion. Feel free to raise your hand. You can use the raise your hand feature, and that will help because it's hard to see everybody on the screen. We had 45. Priscilla, I think was the first hand that went up. Go ahead.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for this presentation. I do have a question in regards to the the Micro Daily Plus CBD. I know that's the original formula that Dr. Prasad developed. Does the Micro Daily Plus CBD does it have any protection at all for, let's just say, those people who, you know, are electrohypersensitive, but they also are experiencing pain and, you know, anxiety and so forth? Would you suggest, does that have any protection for them?
Absolutely. One of the best things about CBD is its ability to help a person who's dealing with anxiety issues. That's why I love CBD so much. CBD has gotten a lot of attention in the last years because every cell in the body has CBD or cannabidiol receptors. So the body wants CBD. Every cell in the body wants it. So you can't do any harm to your body by introducing that product into your diet. It's a great choice. In fact, it's one of the reasons I went to that one every day. I only take it once a day, you know, right now, just because, you know, to reduce the cost. It's a little bit more expensive.
I noticed you said that you take the Micro Daily and then in the morning, and then you take the Micro Daily Plus in the evening. Would that be also for something, can we do the Micro Daily EMF in the morning and then the Micro Daily Plus in the evening?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That would be a good way to do it. Then you get the benefits of the CBD at night. Now there's also another way to get the benefits of the CBD without taking the plus. If a person decided that they didn't want to buy the plus, it's very simple. Engage Global made the CBDs as boosters, so you can now just buy them separately. Let me see if I can show that screen real quick. I'm glad you asked.
Jonathan, I have a testimony too.
Okay, hang on one second. So maybe you can see the screen now. So let's say you only have the Micro Daily with CoQ10, or you only have the Micro Daily with EMF. That's fine. You can still keep those and use those, but now you can add CBD to them at night. So, but that's a good way to divide it to keep your life simple. Yes, you could just use the EMF in the morning and the CBD, the Micro Daily Plus at night, or you can use one of these two. The 750 milligram is on the left, and the 1500 milligram is on the right. So those are available too to supplement.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pat. That's Patricia. Did I get it right?
Priscilla.
Priscilla. Thank you very much for your questions. Alfreda, go ahead, please.
Well, I have a gentleman, Joseph, can you unmute? He just started taking the products with some samples the other day, and he was telling me about his wife had some fantastic results. So Joseph, are you unmuted?
Yeah. If you can hear me, and I continue?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've been saying like yesterday I talked to you about that I feel about this and my wife. And I find it like, you know, this is like, you want to leave or you want to watch me when I leave? You see? That's how I see it, the difference. And we have a problem like since COVID started, you know, about a year. You know, we have 3 kids, and you can tell. And after I start using it, I see complete change. Complete change. It's like I find myself when I'm like early 20, something like that, because it's very hard for me to exercise. You hear me? I'm here.
Amazing. We can hear you.
Yeah, so that's all those things. Like, you know, for me, I know a little bit about nutrition also, and I used to use this different kind of supplement from CVS and from Amway, the good product. But you know, you have to take like 10 of them or 8, and at the same time, you don't see immediate like change.
Right.
But this one is like, it's like, I don't know, I find myself again. And also when you take like these kind of things, like for me as evidence, like if you take any kind of supplement or something, you see like when you go to pee, your pee has to be white. So automatically all those things change. I say, oh, this is what exactly I need. So I'm really thankful to be a part of this. And the other question I have is I keep getting a call since yesterday from Africa, from like out of United States. So how can we deliver this thing to them, especially for Africa?
Very good question.
Also, can you tell what happened with your wife?
My wife was like, just like complete change. Like she don't sleep because she's stressed, really stressed a lot of things. I can't even tell you how the change is like, now I get coffee, everything, so everybody's happy. And even my son asked me, what happened to mom? And I say, what? She keeps smiling today. I asked her, I couldn't explain more to him. So anyway, she will come maybe next week to give her word. But it's more than that. It's more than that. So I can't explain it.
She was able to sleep also, you said.
Yeah,
sleep.
Yeah, sleep daytime. I never see my wife for 10 years sleeping daytime. Sleep. She get rest, really. Everything is changed. Detox. You know what I'm talking about. All of the things like, for me, the way I see it, it's the way you live is the way you think. The way you think is the way you're living. Nobody tell you to dress this jacket and all this thing under this. It's you. So that's why you look like this. But if you dress like red, you look a little bit different. So anyway, this is really like a blessing. Like you find yourself, your origin. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm very happy. I start exercising in 3 days. And the guy who lives in Camarillo, have been telling me like about years, like he has, he's old, I know, but neck pain, back pain, and I know all this problem. And the first day he take it, that makes me amused. The first day he take it, after some hour he called me. And today speaking different, but he will be also on this Zoom meeting maybe by next week or something. But it is really amazing. I know what this is like blessing. I have no word. You can't explain it in a word, and you have to feel it. If you are lucky. Otherwise, you keep watching. That's how I find it.
Yeah, that was Girma, and he said that after 4 hours, he had a car accident and has been unable to move his neck. And after 4 hours after he took the pill, he was able to move his neck. And he hasn't been able to do that for a long time. I want to say a year, but I can't remember exactly, but a long time. And so he was like, I can't believe how good I feel after being on this product for just 24 hours.
That's outstanding.
I saw. Yeah. This is he will be here by next week because it's totally changed.
Good. Yeah. Thank you so much, Joseph. We want to hear his story, and we want to hear the rest of your stories. Thank you so much for sharing that. We love your enthusiasm, by the way.
Thank you. But anyway, my question is again, how can I send like this product to my out of state? Like there are questions, demand. There is a demand from my out of country.
To Africa.
If somebody wants.
Right now, the company is not shipping to many of those countries, but you can do that yourself. So you can send it. My recommendation is you send it as a gift, to your family, even if they pay for it or whatever, but you package it as a gift, and then it will usually get in without having to go through customs and all that kind of stuff. So we can talk about, some ways to get it in, to help you to get it over there until the company opens up a portal into places like Africa and Cameroon or wherever it is. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you again. Wonderful. Okay, another question here. Estelito, please.
Yes, I just want to introduce our friends, Eric, Jency, and Dallin. And she would like to relate an experience she has when she began taking micro daily. And
Very
they're
good.
on there. And can you unmute, please, Jency? Thank you, Jency.
Unmute.
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead. We're excited to hear your story.
Hello, I'm Jency, and like Estelito said, he referred me the EMF. So I've been the first 24 I'm a frontliner. So I'm on my feet for like 12 to 14 hours a day. And I already have my plantar fasciitis and all that. So the first 24 hours that I've taken this EMF, the sample of my husband. So he said, take this one, because I said, we have positive COVID. And, you know, there's the anxiety already and all that. So I got home, I'm so down and feet hurts. And then he said, take this one. So I didn't know that they are talking. Estelito and my husband has been talking about this. But when that day was really tough because you're dealing with COVID patients, so he gave it to me. His sample, he gave it to me. So I took 3. The next day, I walked out of that bed with no pain on my feet.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I took another 3 going to work. And I said, I'm full of energy. So I'm too energetic. So my coworkers look at me, and the environment, you know, the pressure, the anxiety of having COVID patient, and you are saying that I'm full of energy. They all look at me and they said, what are you taking? So my supervisor said, what are you taking? So, you know, you're all suit up, your PPEs and all that, but still I keep going. And that's that suit alone is extremely difficult and uncomfortable, but I have the smile behind the mask. They can see that. So everybody's wondering now at work. So from right now, it's been more than a week and I still have that energy. And I was listening to the blood pressure, how it affects the blood pressure. I intend to continue taking this because I am on 3 blood pressure pills. I've been on these pills for 10 years now. It's genetic, and I intend to continue.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Jency. That's exciting. And thank you for all your hard work and the contributions you're making to help keeping people alive. And behind the
Thank
scenes,
you.
we're 100% behind you. And we wish we could get to more frontliners like you. And we're just very thankful that Estelito and Tess have introduced it to you. And maybe now many others will be able to get access to it on the front line. Thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Estelito, for making sure we got that in. All right. Another question here. Lula Jester has a question.
There's a family that I know of that have a teenage daughter. A lot of the young teenagers are really undergoing the depression during the pandemic. So this young girl was telling her mom that she wants to really try go to the store and get some CBD oil. However, the doctors have her on some medication for anxiety. So the question is, since she's on the medicine already, will this product with the CBD oil in it, will there be a contradiction, do you think?
No, it will not contraindicate with the anxiety medication. If anything, it will help to remove the need for taking the anxiety medication. I would recommend CBD is just like any other food, and the same with microdaily. It's just like any other food. So there would be no problems at all with it. What some have done, if they're concerned about that at all, They just take it about 2 hours apart. So if they take the medication early in the morning, they just wait 2 hours before they take the microdaily or CBD.
Okay, so how many would you recommend?
How old is this?
15.
15-year-old. The 15-year-old child can take the 750 microdaily boost, will be no problem, and 2 microdaily with CoQ10. So I would recommend 2 microdaily CoQ10 twice a day, and 1 of the 750 CBD boost.
Oh, just get the one separate with the boost.
Yeah, now you can control what they're getting.
Okay.
So now you know 750. If 750 is not quite enough once a day, now you can give them 750 twice a day. Now you can know how much of a dose would be beneficial for them.
Okay, thank you.
And they can't overdose on. That's the good thing about CBD. There's no psychotropic effects. There's no THC in it. It's all CBD extracted from hemp. There's no THC in it, okay?
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your question. Sonia Diaz, Dizon, please.
Hello, Mr. Jones. My name is Sonia Dizon from Palm Coast. I just want to ask, yes, I just want to ask if I can ask a question related to another subject besides blood pressure.
Absolutely, please go ahead.
Yes, it has something to do with IPF condition, and I want to know how this micro daily or the micro CBD can help.
That's idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis?
Yes.
Well, that patent that you saw there was not just heart health, it was pulmonary health. And one amazing thing about the lungs is there's massive amounts of glutathione in the lungs. This will raise glutathione levels in the lungs. It will help to reduce the inflammation in the lungs. It will help to clear it out. Now, the person will have to, pulmonary fibrosis is deadly, and there's no cure, no treatment for it. So we need to just kind of make sure that that's made real clear. Now, going through the process is not going to be a picnic. You know, so imagine renovating a house. You got to tear the kitchen out. You got to tear the bathroom out. You got to tear the floors out. You got to sometimes tear the walls down. It's not going to be a picnic because all kinds of stuff may start to come out. So they can expect some discomfort in some ways. So don't think that the product is hurting them. It's probably doing the most good for them because there's stuff built up in there. Now, there's some more things that may need to be done. In addition to that, there's some natural things that stimulate the natural production of healthy stem cells also. So you might want to send us an email about that, and we'll direct you as to how you can get some things to produce natural stem cell productions. Okay, so not another supplement to take, but something external that they can put on that will stimulate natural stem cells while going through the process, because this is a healing crisis that they're going to go through. Okay.
Because right now there's already scarring in the lungs.
Yeah.
And so, we are really concerned of how we can have a therapy, you know, for our family.
I would use the plus. I would use the plus because now you're adding some more food for that area. But I would use this patch also. So make sure you email me about that, and I'll tell you how to get the patch. It's a very simple thing to do. They just put it on every day, and it stimulates natural stem cell production.
So shoot you an email about that. I do have your email. And also, if he has to take the either the CBD or the other one, how many pills would that person has to take?
What's the age?
78.
I would suggest at least 3 of the plus twice a day, and keep an eye on how they're doing with it, because he or she may be able to take three times a day, and that may speed it up. But if the level of discomfort, if they're starting to deal with it behaving like an expectorant and it's too overwhelming, then you can reduce it. But if they can tolerate it, I'd go 3 times a day, 3 capsules, 3 times a day with meals.
Oh, with meals. All right. Well, thank you for the information. I will email you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Happy to help. And keep us posted on how that story turns out, please.
All right.
Belinda Wash has a question.
Yes, good afternoon, Brother Jonathan and everyone here. Thank you for this great platform and information. I have two major questions right now. For the dementia, what should someone take? And also for urinary tract infections.
We had really good results with the regular microdaily with CoQ10.
Okay.
There's been some really good results with that, and add the brain boost to it. But I would also suggest maybe one of the 1,500 milligram CBD boost also per day, because there's again, there's a massive amount of CBD receptors in the brain, so the brain will love it. But the regular microdaily, and depending on the age, you might want to just increase it to, instead of just 2 capsules twice a day of the regular microdaily, go with 3 capsules twice a day.
Okay.
One brain boost and one of the CBD 1,500 milligram boost as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a nice little cocktail there that will really help, the body just feel happy. The immune system is going to be happy. The oxidative stress levels will go down. CBD receptors will be happy, and things are going to start firing that were not firing before. You said
Okay,
you
so you said the CoQ10, the
Mhm.
brain boost, and the CBD.
Yeah, the 1,500 milligram if possible.
Okay. Okay. And does either one of the micro dailies have come with one of these in it?
Yes, the microdaily plus has
Oh.
CBD combined. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, the microdaily plus has CBD combined. If it's cheaper for you to do it that way, that's fine. But I was thinking in terms of getting you the cheapest combination, the microdaily with CoQ10, because you're going to need 1.5 bottles per month. And instead of spending the microdaily plus is $99 per bottle wholesale. The microdaily with CoQ10 is $49.95 wholesale.
Oh.
So you can control your cost better with the microdaily with CoQ10 and with the CBD boost. You'll be able to better monitor your cost, control your cost that way.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you said also about the urinary tract infection.
Yeah, the microdaily with CoQ10 should alleviate that issue very, very nicely. How old is the person?
Believe about 60 or 70 some years old.
Okay. Then once again, they may have to step it up a little bit. You may have to do more than just the 2 twice a day. They may need more like 3 twice a day. And if that doesn't do it, like in a week or 2, then we need to put them on the ImmuneRx spray. So send me an email on that, and I'll direct you how to get the ImmuneRx spray.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Okay, so it looks like we got most of the questions cleared up. Belinda has maybe one more question she'd like to ask, and we're going to wrap it up because we've already used up all of our time. Well, Gold Empress, you were trying to raise a question earlier, so we'll come back to Gold Empress as well. Okay, Belinda's all taken care of. Go ahead, Gold Empress. Let's hear what your question. Your name, please?
My name is Shelby, or Gold Empress, but I had frontal lobe brain surgery 5 years ago in November, and I don't know, different days I have problems with different things. Sometimes it's like focus and concentration. Sometimes it's my anxiety is always high now, like social anxiety, which I never had before and all that. But then like certain things like well, as you can see right now, I keep saying like, and my wording, like I know a lot of really big vocabulary words, but sometimes I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say the word, but I can give you the definition.
Yep.
And then sometimes I can't, like, I won't know exactly. I'll have to ask myself or ask somebody, like, did I put that word in the right sentence? And then like time management, planning, like it's basically our control center. I had to relearn how to talk and everything. And I heard the lady in the video say something about I just heard her say brain because I was jumping out the shower to hurry up and jump on here. So I just heard her say something about brain and concentration. I was like, oh, what? I need help with that, all of that.
Yep. Yep. Very good. Understandable. I'll tell you, you would benefit a great deal from the same basic formula, the micro daily, the regular micro daily with CoQ10. But I would highly recommend that you take and add as much of the CBD to your program as possible. So if you can add one of the brain boost per day and at least 750 milligrams of the CBD boost as well. So regular microdaily with CoQ10, one brain boost, and one of the 750 CBD. If you can afford it, go with the 1500. It's even better. Take it at night so you'll rest. You need your body to start to heal.
Yeah, because I really don't ever sleep hardly.
Yeah.
Like, and if I do sleep, I'm right back up. Even if it's just to go to the bathroom, it's like I can't go back to sleep because all my thoughts just take over.
I suspected that. So what you want to do is take the 3 micro daily first thing in the morning, take the brain boost in the morning.
Okay.
But at night, just before you hit the pillow, when you're intending to go to sleep, when that's what your intent is, to go to sleep, take 3 of the micro daily with CoQ10, right? Just the regular one, and 1 of the 750 or 1500 milligram CBD. It should slide you into a coma.
Okay, well, and here's the other thing, because I heard you mention THC. My family, because I'm a THC user, so I'm trying to also find a way to make my family happier, by not having the smoke or whatever, because it really does help with my depression and my anxiety and all of that. But it doesn't necessarily help me with the whole time management thing. Like a lot of times I'll be a lot slower. Sometimes I'll be, okay, but it definitely doesn't help with my memory or anything, because obviously THC is not going to help in that matter, but it does help me in a lot of ways too. But I want to make my family happy. So, how are you sure like 750 CBD pill would, like, you know what I'm saying?
No. You can't overdose on it. If you want to take it multiple.
So as many as I need to, that will help me just concentrate and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It'll help with the anxiety. All the benefits that most people try to achieve with cannabis, either smoking it or otherwise, can be achieved by CBD without the THC, without the psychotropic effects. So
okay,
you can't overdose on it. So if you want to take one of the 1500s at night, just before going to sleep, along with 3 of the micro daily capsules, now the regular micro daily capsules, take 3 at night along with 1500 milligram. The next day you can take the CBD throughout the day if you need to.
Okay, yeah. Because see, that's what I was wondering. Because I was like, I use edibles and all of that with as far as the THC goes, and I'm like, I don't know if 750 CBD would help me be able to do anything, But I also don't want to keep like.
Yeah, you don't
it
want to
makes
be
me lazy a lot of times if I don't get the right strain, and sometimes you don't know what to get. So
that's right. Well, this is quality control, so you'll be getting the right thing with this one. So keep us posted on how that works out for you, Shelby. I'm really curious as to how this works in replacing that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Trudy.
Jonathan.
Yes. Is
Hello?
that Trudy?
It's Loida.
Oh, Loida. Go ahead,
Oh,
Loida.
I'm sorry. Somebody asking a question. I just have a quick question about the CBD. Because somebody told me, okay, so this person, they have, how when they work in some places, they need to get a test. So they have a question about the CBD. Will that show in the blood test?
Yes, it will. It will show up that they're taking cannabis.
And so would that be a problem?
It could be. They could lose their job.
Okay.
Thanks for asking that, because that was my other question.
Yeah, even though, now mind you, here's the thing, is that CBD is CBD. The part that's still illegal is marijuana, particularly because of the THC. But hemp is legal in this country, and CBD extracted from hemp is legal. This company would not be able to sell it if it was illegal. So this company is selling it. However, the drug testing agencies haven't been able to differentiate yet between cannabis in the system from marijuana versus the legal cannabis that may show up in the drug system, in their system from hemp, from the legal hemp. So if a person has an issue with that, then yeah, they need to steer clear and not go down that road. But this has no THC in it, so it has no psychotropic effects at all.
Could I have a question? Could they not like because I know a lot of times if you're just honest, you know what I'm saying, and you just tell the truth,
That's
like
right.
people will appreciate that, and they'll kind of look like, as long as maybe they take the, I'm not like advising to do this, but me, I'm young and I could find something else, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I would just take my micro daily, whatever the different things that have the CBD in it, I would take those with me when
correct.
I have my interview and just be like, look, I know that we have to UA and I don't use the actual psychedelic, but however, I do use this micro daily that it will show up that I have cannabinoid, but
That's
I'm not actually using the herb.
That's correct. That's a very good suggestion. We can provide even the documentation that shows the source of it and the validation. So a person can take it to the employer, take it to their doctor, take it, wherever they need to. It is completely 100% legal and safe to use. So thank you very much for sharing that. Trudy, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yes, I have a question. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about 5 years ago. And I don't have the tremors, but I have a problem with my walking. I freeze when I walk. What products should I take?
They did a clinical study some years back using intravenous glutathione treatment for Parkinson's. And while the person was taking the IV, having the tremors, it stopped during the infusion of the glutathione. So if you have not started taking microdaily yet, I would highly recommend that you start taking it. And if you have been and you're still having difficulties with walking, then increase the amount that you're taking. So
okay, to how many?
Go twice a day, three times a day, because we're finding out that based on our age, we can't take what a healthy 20-year-old soldier was taking on the battlefield. 2 capsules twice a day is just not cutting it. I'm knocking on 59, and 2 twice a day was not doing it for me. I had to take 3 twice a day in order for me to get the same results I was getting 6 years ago, with it. So increase your dosage. You can't overdose on it. If you have to, take it 3 times a day, even adding it to your lunch. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you have to. Raise your glutathione levels, okay?
Okay. So, but I am taking the EMF though.
Yeah, then just, you don't have to keep taking the high doses of EMF. You can now keep your EMF what you're doing, but now go and add in the regular with CoQ10. That way you can have an additional bump of your glutathione, okay?
Okay.
So let's say you're taking 3 EMF in the morning, right?
Yes.
Add 1 of the regular with CoQ10 to that dose.
Okay.
And you're taking 3 EMF in the evening?
Yes.
Add 1 regular to that dose in the evening. If that doesn't do it, add 3 regular at lunchtime.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Okay,
Pam Lawrence. Pam Lawrence.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Jonathan. I would like to know, how does it affect diverticulosis or diverticulitis?
Alfreda, please go ahead.
It helps. I have diverticulosis, and I found that out after a colonoscopy, and I have no problems with it. I eat popcorn, not very often because I just don't eat it very often, but when I do, I don't have any problems. And so I have not had to change my diet or anything. So it's a positive.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Very good. Good question. Thank you. And was that Trudy? No, that was Pam. Go ahead, Trudy.
I'm done. I'm done.
We can't quite make out what you're saying there, Trudy. Say it again.
You're
I'm done.
digitizing.
Yeah, it's breaking up. It was just breaking up real bad, Trudy. Let's try you again in a minute. Go ahead, Belinda.
Yes, I have another question. Thank you again. If someone is in the hospital, nursing home, and now they have a tube going down their throat, so they can't, themselves, take anything. So how would they take the micro daily or whatever?
The doctors would have to work that out. If the doctors approve it, you just open up the capsules and just add it right into the food that they're being fed. Just mix it right in with their food.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey, I have a question.
And was that Shannon, Gold Empress? Tell me your name again.
Yes, it's Shelby. But the lady that was saying that she has the Parkinson's and she sometimes stops when she's walking, it reminded me at first after my brain surgery they had prescribed me Dilantin, and I'm against medicine. Like, the business I want to start is food, your miracle medicine and stuff like that, like all natural, because I've had so many friends die from overdosing on just they end up turning to street drugs if they're on Loratabs and stuff. And so I have seizures. Well, the Dilantin, my great grandma, she asked me to take it, and so finally I did. This was before I was smoking the medical grade marijuana, and I was still smoking like the male plant, which is pointless because it doesn't help with your health at all. But I had more seizures more often. I was staying unconscious longer when I was taking the Dilantin. But then when I stopped using the regular weed and used the medical grade, I haven't had a seizure, and I've had a couple small ones, but I have clonic, tonic, and grand mal seizures. I can have all three, and I haven't had any of the major ones in about 2.5 years.
Wow.
Will the same treatment that you were speaking of earlier that would help with my memory and stuff help with the seizures also?
Absolutely. You should.
That's really more important to me than my memory. I can make jokes about my memory and just say my train workers quit working. I'll get back to you on my train of thought or something. But as far as the seizures, like, I bit off a whole chunk of my tongue because my husband, he didn't catch me or put a stalk or something. Like, people say a spoon, no, don't do that because they'll chip their teeth, but you have to put something so we won't swallow our tongue. And so that's the main thing that I smoke for now, is because seizures scare me.
Yep, understandable. That's one of the benefits of both micro daily and CBD is its claim to fame when it comes to seizures. So the combination of the two should make you feel a lot better. You should be functioning better. Your immune system is going to be happy. The level of antioxidants that you're introducing is going to be great. And the vitamin E is not just vitamin E. It's a vitamin E succinate, which also has the benefit of crossing the blood-brain barrier. So you got a couple of good benefits to taking this combination of products. Okay. But thank you very much for sharing your story and your questions.
No, yeah, thank you, because now I can at least, not have seizures, but not be lazy or just like,
you can
existing. I mean, I can function sometimes on it, but sometimes I tend to smoke too much. So this will help me a lot.
You'll get your life back here with this one. So please keep us posted on how it works for you, okay?
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie Crawford, our last question, and we're going to transition. For those who are interested in the business, we're going to have a brief business meeting right after this. So go ahead, Jackie. And we lost Trudy.
I have two questions. How are you, Jonathan?
Very good, Jack.
I wanted to ask, does the micro daily remove?
Can you hear me?
We heard part of that. We heard, does the micro daily
remove fatty tumors?
You know, you get the fatty tumors. I think it's called pulmonary or pulmonary something. Fatty tumors that people tend to get maybe in the neck, the leg, any part of the body. Does micro daily remove that? And also the second question would have been, does micro daily help with high cholesterol?
Very good question. Second question first. Many people have said that their cholesterol has improved tremendously when they start adding micro daily to their diet. So that one little dietary change, according to a lot of people, has affected their cholesterol levels. We've been hearing that now for years. That's just even with the regular micro daily with CoQ10. But as far as the fatty tissue is concerned, I doubt it. I have not personally heard of any anecdotal testimonials about it, and I don't know that there's any rationale to conclude it that it will. I will tell you this: I was just talking to a biochemist just yesterday, who has produced a formula that we're going to be testing out later in the week that does a great job of converting fat to muscle. It's a pure athletic performance product, and it's, according to him, it does a great job with that. Now, whether it would be able to take a pocket like that and remove it, I don't know. I know that most persons have had to have it surgically removed. So with some form of they have a liposuction type procedure that they do, but it's less invasive than liposuction. So that's what I recall about that. Alfreda, please go ahead.
I wanted to finish. I was just going to ask, how many packages would you recommend a person trying to get their cholesterol down? How many packages for a person at 54 years old?
Oh yeah,
how many times a day?
Three capsules twice a day should do it.
What about the packages, the powder?
Oh, the hydro. Okay, yeah, the hydro is the same as 3 capsules. So if you just take 1 hydro with each meal, that's the same as taking 3 capsules twice a day.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And but Alfreda, you want to comment on the fatty tissue?
No, I just had one removed in the back of my neck. So it just forms, and it forms in a sac, and it was starting to cause migraines because it was getting so large, and so I just had it removed.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Hi, Jonathan. Last question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Go ahead, Logan.
Yes, question. Somebody just asked me, what's the difference between what was that, hemp and the DCF or something? What was that again? The marijuana part?
Yes. The cannabis is there's two different types of cannabis. There's the marijuana cannabis, which is very high in THC. That's where the psychotropic drug part of it is. That's why people smoke marijuana. And then there's hemp. Hemp is a different type of cannabis. It is in the cannabis family, but it's hemp, and it has almost no THC in it at all. That's why the government says that CBD that has THC below a certain level, I think it's like 0.02 level of THC, is legal in this country. So hemp is okay, but marijuana is still considered illegal because it has high levels of THC. THC is what causes the loopiness, the high that people get from marijuana. Okay, hope that answers your question. All right, folks. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, folks, very much for joining us. It's been my pleasure and privilege to have been your host and moderator for today. Again, my name is Jonathan. Next week, we're going to be talking about cancer. So if you know anyone who'd like to be in on an in-depth discussion about what effect antioxidants, micronutrients can have on cancer, we'll be talking about that next week. Or was that COVID-19 we were supposed to be talking about next week, Alfreda? Vaccine is up.
Cancer. I don't have the list.
Okay.
But we haven't talked about cancer in a while.
Okay. Well, then cancer it is. We'll do COVID-19 maybe a week or two after that. So we're going to spend a couple of weeks on cancer. So anyone that you know that has any questions or is curious about it, we're going to be trying to get Dr. Nkuzi to join us for at least a portion of our discussion. He's a medical doctor and a 30-year veteran oncologist and a holistic medicine expert. So we can drag him in to answer a couple of questions for us on that subject, but we're going to be delving into it heavy. Okay. So thank you folks very much again for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording now. We're going to make the transition over to the business meeting for any who are interested in that. We're just going to take a 1 minute break here, 1 minute.